Less than a week away from the 2026 British J Cup, Revolution Pro Wrestling was live in Southampton this past Sunday with champions in attendance and one title on the line, the AEW National Championship, to be defended in the main event in the 1865. The afternoon began with the number one contender for the undisputed British Heavyweight Championship, Connor Mills, in his first in-ring action since winning the Revolution Rumble, taking on Josh James of the new Sons of Southampton. With Mills' arch nemesis and potential Wembley opponent Michael Oku also in the building, Mills wanted to put his best foot forward, and that's what he did against James, ultimately winning the match with a devastating rebound lariat, getting the 1, 2, 3, and laying down a marker before Oku competed in non-title competition later on. Up next, the combination of Josh Holly and James Ellis, collectively known as Top Tier, at the center of controversy because on two previous occasions they had launched pre-match attacks on members of CPF. Well, in Southampton, Top Tier went against two of CPF, Danny Black and Maverick Mayhew, both of whom were in the mood for revenge, but unfortunately the underhanded tactics of Top Tier would give them an unfair advantage which would ultimately lead to the victory. Holly introducing the flag that he brought to the ring into the fray, and while the referee was busy dealing with that, off the back of the distraction, Top Tier able to give themselves an advantage. Follow that up with the superplex diving elbow drop combination to secure another victory, as Top Tier, regardless of the means by which they've been able to do it, are starting to look like a force that must be taken seriously here in RevPro. Now, Kanji is right in the midst of a heated rivalry against Rio. Rio was not in Southampton, but Myla Grace was. Grace going one-on-one with Kanji, and this was one hell of a professional wrestling match. Kanji with all of her technical expertise, but Myla Grace able to find an answer for almost everything that Kanji would throw at her. Kanji in the end striking Grace in the head with the Kanji KO to secure a pinfall victory. The best possible response, perhaps, to Rio's claim that Kanji is being hunted by the leader of the pack. Michael Oku was in non-title competition in Southampton against Xander Bryant. Plenty of history here because Oku had long been a mentor to all three of the Flying Bryant brothers, but had treated them in a pretty condescending way at the Revolution Rumble last month. And that behavior resumed at the start of this match in Southampton, Xander having none of it and taking the fight to Oku in another thoroughly absorbing match. Oku picking up the 1, 2, 3 and wanted to address the fans on the microphone afterwards, but didn't get a chance because the music of his rival Connor Mills started playing in the 1865. Mills coming out perhaps to confront Oku, but before he got the chance, he was attacked again by the man he defeated earlier in the day, Josh James. James was joined by his fellow new son of Southampton, Kelly Six, and after they delivered a beatdown on Mills, Oku, in cocky fashion, placing a foot on the body of the man who he hopes to beat in the main event of our 14-year anniversary at the OVO Arena, Wembley, on August 29th.
As your three-time undisputed British Heavyweight Champion, I want to say to Kelly Six, I want to say to Joshua James, and I want to say to all the people of Southampton that I appreciate the passion.
Look at this, the boot on the body here of Connor Mills. And Connor Mills may have unlocked a beast in Michael Oku. One champion who evokes no sympathy whatsoever is the undisputed British Cruiserweight champ, Leighton Buzzard. Buzzard repeated the pattern we've seen from him as of late in his one-on-one match against contender Isaac. Murray put up a good fight, but Buzzard eventually hit the Buzz Killer, hit the Frog Splash from the top, and instead of going for the pin, chose to do what he's done both to Joe Lando, Maverick Mayhew, and to Chicago Desai, choking out Murray with a psychotic glare in his eyes as Leighton Buzzard picking up another victory.
Joe Lando is in the main event versus Mark Davis for the AEW National Championship. To me, all that shows is that you don't really care about this championship. You don't really care about this company. All this championship was to you was a stepping stone, so you could get bigger opportunities. Well, now Joe, you've got a bigger opportunity because you're stepping into the ring with Mark Davis, who outweighs you by about 150 pounds and is one of the heaviest hitters that the British J Cup is 1 week away. And I can tell you right now, and I'm going to say what everyone else in this room is too scared to say, you're not making it to the British J Cup, buddy.
Speaking of the British J Cup, 2 of the 8 men who are going to compete in that tournament, Nino Bryant and Leon Cage, teamed up next against Mark True and Kieran Lacey. True and Lacey accompanied to the ring once more by Will Caven, who was instrumental in their victory over CPF a fortnight previously in London. But unfortunately, there was to be a miscue between Bryant and Cage. Bryant trying to break Leon Cage out of a pin attempt, ended up hitting him with a Bryant splash by mistake. Mark True got the pin on Cage shortly afterwards to secure another win for True and Lacey. After the match, Nino Bryant trying to pick up Leon Cage, but Cage was furious at the miscue, shoving Nino, finding that the tension ahead of that British J Cup causing a rupture between them with just 6 days to go. Up next, a grudge match made in Southampton as JJ Gale, the heart and soul of RevPro, took on the centerpiece, David Francisco. The match ultimately got officially started inside the ring and remained just as intense as it had been before the bell. Gale looked like he was on course to secure the victory, and Francisco, perhaps desperately, brought the leather belt that he had whipped Gale with in London back into the equation. Gale, though, was able to gain possession of the belt, and right in front of the referee, having completely lost his cool, Gale attacked Francisco with that belt. The referee had no choice but to disqualify JJ Gale. Gale continued to attack Francisco afterwards. So on the one hand, Gale may feel that he did get a measure of payback against David Francisco, but as Francisco will no doubt tell anyone who will listen, via disqualification, he is the one who the record books will record was victorious in this match between himself and JJ Gale. Main event up next, and the AEW National Championship on the line. Dunkzilla Mark Davis making his return to Revolution Pro Wrestling for the first time in half a year, as he was challenged by another of the men who will compete in the British J Cup, the former Cruiserweight Champion Joe Lando. Lando showed the kind of heart that had made him such a remarkable Cruiserweight Champion for almost 6 months. Davis, though, ultimately was able to scoop up Lando for that patented pile driver, the close your eyes and count to nothing. Well, the referee counted to 3, and after he did, Mark Davis was still the AEW National Champion. After the match, a show of respect between Davis and Lando. Then Lando's CPF teammates came to commiserate with him, and from there, pandemonium ensued. Another attack on CPF from top tier. Caven, True and Lacey got involved as well. Then Nino Bryant and Leon Cage joined the fray, all while Leighton Buzzard was gloating at ringside about the fact that Lando had been unsuccessful in his efforts to displace Mark Davis. Things came to a head when first Nino Bryant and then Leon Cage dove to the outside of the ring. A preview of the mayhem that we can surely expect at the Gordon Craig Theatre in Stevenage at the 2026 British J Cup. Opportunities do not come much bigger than this. Who will seize the moment? We'll find out on Saturday. In the meantime, I've been Dave Bradshaw, and this has been your RevPro Recap.